Hey, what is going on, everybody? Boilon here, back for another event video here on Marvel Strike Force. In today's video, we are going to be going over the event starting Monday called A Legend Continues. This one in particular is very nuanced. There's a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of stuff that contribute to this upcoming event milestone, including Kiln Tower, which I went over yesterday. So do check out that video if you want more details about that, because I'm going to be glossing over that here today, how it's relevant to the points and what you need to do, but I'm not going to be telling you how to beat Kiln Tower or any of that stuff. That is from yesterday's video. Hopefully I will get some gameplay footage also out for Kiln on the upper floors, the new ones, later on Monday as well. But there's also the Undying showcase, which is going to be around Monday, and that's going to be filtering into the main milestone as well. We're going to take a look at that and all the stuff that you need to do, because this is a leaderboard event, which means it's very important. So if you're ready to go, let's boil this down. Before we get there, though, I am going to do a very quick overview of the anniversary events. I probably don't even need to do this, frankly. But, you know, this is the regular events. This is not like the legend continue, like the more important one. But you can see this is the usual stuff. You know, do your blitz with shield medic, play with global characters, blah 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 blah. You're gonna get an oath anniversary costume at the end. You probably should have oath maxed out, but if you don't, here's some free crap that you're gonna get, you know, for doing your usual stuff. There's some gold, there's some training mods, there's a little bit of purple ions, and the 7th year tokens to hopefully max out that milestone. Because this is the last event, I'm pretty sure. The web milestone, again, the same as usual. You're going to be spending your event showcase, the anniversary showcase energy, and your Starjammers showcase energy to get that completed. You do not need a core to get the stuff done, but you will need the cores later on for the Undying showcase, which we'll talk about. This is the chart for A Legend Continues. This is important because this is also the Howard the Duck unlock event. You can see here with the various shards. Now, as long as you make meaningful progress on Kiln Tower, you should be able to unlock Howard. So that part is not a big problem. There is a lot of these other milestones, which you'll only get if you push towards the end of Kiln. And you also have some of the newer Starjammers unlocked, aka Howard and Havoc, by Friday. Because the way that the point structures work is that it's 3,000 points per Starjammers member in Crucible. That is 15 usages of Starjammers. That's the entire team 3 times. So if you do not have Howard by Friday, and of course if you don't have Havoc, you're losing out on anywhere from 3,000 to 6,000 points per Crucible match on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So that's unfortunate for free-to-play players. But there is 90 free-to-play Howard shards in here. I don't know why it's not 100 unless I'm missing 10 somewhere and it's over here somewhere. But I see count 90, 20, 40, 60, 70, 80, 90. You know, these ones are going to be very hard to get. This is actually the sheer maximum, milestone 17. We'll talk about the differences. This is a leaderboard event though, so this is going to be micro dots. This is skill, right? Skill gear, encoded data, and micro dots. I'm pretty sure. Is that tech? God, I don't even remember the names anymore. But anyways, you know, it's still going to be really important to score as much as you can. I'm glad that they're keeping this top 10K structure in the way that it's broken down. I know it looks really, really ugly. But it's really nice because it allows people to push. And actually, I almost think that they're giving more, because I scored top 2,000 in the last event, I think, the last leaderboard, and I didn't get 160. I think I got 90. So I think they raised this up, which is pretty crazy. So even top 10,000 are going to be getting 25 of these, which is one gear piece. And even 1 to 10% is almost one gear piece as well. So there's a lot of, this is quite generous. I'm surprised. Is this like Odin 2.0? We'll have to talk about this at another time. Anyways, that's going to be the first part of the event math. Let's go. Well, not the event math, going over the event rewards, I suppose. Let's dive into the numbers, and then we're going to pivot a little bit to the showcase event because that's going to be really important. So we have The Legend Continues. It's a 7-day event. It does requires Kiln Tower, the Undying showcase. We'll talk about that in a little bit here, and the Crucible Cosmic Crucible with Starjammers. You're not actually. You know what? I didn't even change that. I have a bad habit of this. Okay. No, it was close. Sorry. I copy and pasted that, but it was pretty close. 350K. The rest is fine. So free claims are probably going to get 500 per day. That's what we normally get. Total reasonable purple ions. Whenever we have leaderboard events, it seems they give us a little bit less in the milestones. This is specifically in this milestone, though, not including the other anniversary ones. And there's 90 Howard shards at 79,000 milestone points. That's milestone 13. This is pretty easy to get. I think as long as you make reasonable kill tower progress, like you should be able to get this. You're getting like 45,000 from start. Well, okay, if you have the 3 characters for Star Jammers, that's still 27,000 points. So that's like almost a third of the way there. Like it's not hard to get. The Undying Orb Fragments is 2 to 1. We're going to talk about that because it's directly in the showcase, and you're going to be coring for your showcase energy to get more Undying Orb Fragments and getting more points for this leaderboard. That's basically outside of Kiln. That's the only other way to get more points. Really, is going to be from the Undying Orb Fragments, and that's going to be pretty important. There's going to be some bonus points here for Howard and Havoc at 5, 6, 7 yellow. It's not actually that much, but it will help you a little bit if you already have that, right? 5,000 is not a lot in the grand scheme of things, actually, compared to the rest of the event stuff. There you go. And so I broke this. I'm not going to be doing this. I just wanted to show you the differences, though. So this is floor 30 of Kiln Tower. You get 12,000 milestone points. At floor 40, it's 19.5 thousand. At floor 52, it's 30.8 thousand. They threw in some weird like 750 values in here. That's why it's so janky. And then finally at 458, these are the new floors. So going from 52, which is the top of the old tower, to 58 is 85,300. So there's a jump of 54,500 right here. Like that's dramatic. So being able to clear the Liberty section of the Kiln Tower is going to dramatically affect your overall milestone points in this event. And it's also what's going to allow you to push some of those upper milestones that I talked about, like basically milestone 17. If you're able to clear floor 58, you have a really good chance of getting there, which is a significant amount of extra X coins as well, because 13 is the Howard the Duck here. Can I zoom in a little bit more? And then the 95,000 X coins, 115,000 X coins, 135. All of this is basically doable if you get to the end of Kiln Tower, which is a lot of extra X coins and a lot of extra G20 gear. So not to mention the leaderboard progress, right, in pushing up there. I want to talk about the daily Undying Orb Fragments. So this is from the showcase, and this is on the web. Now, I do want to point out, before we go there, I want to point out what they say in the blog, because I feel like maybe it's misleading. The way that some people in my Discord read it is not how it appears to be. So if you look at this, it says mission. These are the bonus missions, which are the important stuff. This is basically, it says requires Scarlet Witch Zombie and 3 Undying characters at 3 yellow stars. Now, the way that I'm reading this is that you need Zombie Scarlet Witch unlocked, and then the other 3 at 3 yellow stars. But the way that it is in game and the way that it is on the web is that it's all of them. And so if that's the case, why does it not just say 4 Undying? Because I want to show you, it's in the game. You can see Red Dead Rematch. And actually, now that I think about it, this is starting 1 day delayed. So there's only 6 days to this server. I'm going to need to change the math on that slightly. I didn't notice that until just now. But anyways, you can see how it is labeled here on the bonuses, 4 Undying at 3 star. So that's pretty important because it feels like it's different than the wording of the blog. That's just me. So the expectation, I suppose, I have a 4 yellow Zombie Scarlet Witch, which means I'm only going to be able to do the mission 1 and mission 2, which is the 3 yellow and the 4 yellow. That's all I'm going to be able to do. For the purposes of the math, I'm going to be doing this at 200 cores daily, that you're doing all 5 of the challenge nodes, which is the second difficulty when you start getting the fragments, and 2 of the bonus missions, mission 1 and mission 2. Unless something changes, I don't know if we're going to be able to progress further unless you have higher yellow stars on Zombie Scarlet Witch. You can see some of the mission stuff here as well. So this is, I believe, let's just go back. So you can find it here if you go into the missions, and way down at the bottom you can see Red Dead Rematch bonus. Click on that, and then you can see the kind of stuff that you get out of that. You get some DPCs, but you can see here that the Undying Orb Fragments, let's go into full screen mode. You can see the Undying Orb Fragments here, 45. You get 10 attempts at this, and you get 450 fragments per node, basically. So if you do all 5 of the challenge nodes, you're gonna walk away with, about 1 orb. And while the orb itself is not that important in my opinion, it's just how it's relevant to the event points. That's kind of what I care about anyways. But there you go. So that's bonus 1. What's really nice though is I hate that I have to go all the way back and do this again. But if you jump to the even the story mode, actually, there's X coins in here, so it's really worth doing this. Make sure you don't skip out because you're actually getting like 50,000 X coins. This is just the story mode stuff, 50,000 X coins, and so this is pretty nice. 50,000 X coins again. There's only 3 missions on the story, and then on challenge, there's going to be 5, right? And this is where you're going to start, where everyone's going to be able. And there's more X coins actually, in fact. But this is where you're going to start farming these Undying Ore Fragments. So it's pretty important. Like all of these have X coins, I'm pretty sure. So there's a lot of good stuff in here. Even if you don't get to the bonus missions, there's like some DPCs, more X coins, some dark diamond, silver diamond, sorry, more X coins. Like there's some pretty good stuff in the rewards here. More DPC, like 1,000 DPCs. That's pretty nice. And then lots of X coins. So there's tons of X coins in the variety of events. So back to the math. This 3150 daily orb fragments, this is 200 cores daily, doing the 5 challenge missions and 2 of the bonus missions. That's what I've calculated. Okay. If you can't do that, it's going to be a little bit less for you and probably a little bit less cores as well. That's going to be double the points daily. So it's times 2, right? 6,300 daily times. This is actually should be 6 days now that I think about it because it's starting a day late. So that I didn't pick that up until earlier. So that's going to be 37,800 points stemming from the Undying Ore Fragments if you're doing 200 cores a day. If you have more stars on Zombie Scarlet Witch, or you want to core more, refresh the nodes, whatever, have at it. And that will affect your leaderboard position, of course. And I think the only way that you can like use cores to kind of influence that as well. Now I've broken this up into 2 different point structures because I don't know what progress people are going to make on Kiln. So I've done floors 52, which is before the Liberty stuff, 200 cores daily on the Undying Ore Fragments, and 3 Starjammers characters. That's 99,100 points, or approximately milestone 14, and that's ahead of the 90 Howard shards. So hopefully you can do this, get Howard unlocked, and pick up more points, right? Because he's worth 3,000 points. Howard alone is worth 3,000 points per Crucible match if you get him unlocked before Friday or by Friday. Then you can use them in there. So that'll be like 9,000 points just by making sure that you unlock Howard by Crucible time. So that's not included in this. If you do that, great, you're gonna get more points. The second one is points floor 58, which is you cleared Kiln Tower, you've done all of that, and you're doing 200 cores daily in Undying, and you have all the Starjammers, including Havoc. If you were a keener and maybe you power cored for Havoc, or maybe you spent, right? Whatever. That's going to be 171,600 points. Look at the points difference. That's the difference between clearing Kiln Tower and having all the Starjammers unlocked. That's a lot. Like the gap is gigantic. Now, where that's going to get you on the points, I think now that it's only 6 days on Undying, it may have dropped us a little bit actually. So I want to double check. This is, yeah, you need 180,000 actually for milestone 17. So milestone 17 probably won't happen unless you have maybe a 5 yellow Howard, and you could push that up probably with a little bit of extra coring in the Undying showcase to get to milestone 17. What do you get on milestone 17? Well, you get 20 more Howard the Duck shards. It's not that big of a deal, actually. 500,000 purple islands and 8 million gold. It's not the worst thing in the world to miss that, so it's not a big deal. I would say the big deal there is milestone 16, where you get 135,000 X coins here, which is more than reasonable. We're already past that. So obviously you're going to want to get as many points as physically possible because this is a leaderboard event. Beyond Kiln Tower, the only way to get additional points is going to be from the Undying showcase, though, right? That's the only way to get more points beyond what's available. So if you've cleared Kiln Tower, thumbs up to you. We'll find out how difficult it is. I'll do some gameplay videos on Monday evening when that goes out. I'll be grinding myself up to the top floors, seeing how bad the Liberty floors are or not based on my video from yesterday where we discussed them. Go check that out if you still don't know what's going on with Kiln. This event has a lot of X coins coming from both Kiln Tower and the event milestone. This event is a leaderboard which will result in many Gear Tier 20 minis, so getting the best score you can will be important towards the Xavier G20 chase, and scoring better free-to-play will depend on your Kill and Tower score, plus scoring in the Undying Showcase, and additional points for already having Howard and Havoc, especially Havoc, because it's not available free-to-play. So that's an extra 9,000 points just for having Havoc available in your roster, so that's quite substantial as well. Otherwise, do the best you can. Try to score the best you can. Leaderboard's important. Xavier's going to be important. There you go. I hope this video was helpful. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. I'll see you guys in the next video. Boilon signing out. And if you like this video, make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and you'll be greatly helping out the channel. Have a great day, and I'll see you guys on the next one.